Oh my goodness gracious, it has been a minute, y'all. Let me take these sunglasses off, actually. So what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It has been quite a while since I have posted. This video is probably gonna be kind of long, just a forewarning, but I'm super excited. There's so much to talk about. So much. So first and foremost, lots of changes in the last couple months. First of all, I'm home for the summer, back in Dallas, at home, loving that. I am working a couple part-time jobs. I still work at the mall. And I'm also teaching summer dance at my old studio. And then in addition to that, I am taking a continuing education class at Collin to be a certified wedding and event planner. Yeah, super, super excited, and that's all summer. All that's great and it's fine and it's wonderful, but you guys know me and The Porch. The Porch is a young adults college ministry that I attend in Dallas, Texas on Tuesday nights at Watermark, and it is just coincidentally during the time that I have this class, so I can't go. Yeah, also I dyed my hair, by the way. It's been a big hit. So yeah, I can't go to The Porch anymore for the summer. However, I did get to go for the first 4 weeks of summer because my class literally just started. So my first week back for the summer was at the beginning of this new series called The Remnant, and The Remnant is simply God's people. Week 3, taught by my favorite, JP, brought a message that just really, really struck me. And of course, like, they're all good. I just particularly really fell in love with this one. All about love and how we love people. It's called What Love Is and What Love Does. And it's based around 1 Corinthians 13, which if you don't know in the Bible, it's just a whole entire like laundry list of things that talk about biblical love, and it's so like picture perfect. It's not even real. So go read 1 Corinthians 13 if you don't know what it says. So let's just talk about this, you know, like, this is important, and I'm not just here to talk about love. It's not quite what this is about. This is different. So just strap in and we're just gonna talk about some stuff. It might be a little weird. It might be just what you need to hear, so I don't know. Let's just go for it. First of all, let's just talk about the definition of love, right? Like, love is, at least in this context, is giving of yourself for the benefit of others at a perceived cost to you. So right off the bat, we're talking about, you know, qualities that are selfless, that are caring, that are kind, that are gentle, that are generous. Of those characteristics in a type of love. And when I say love, you know, I'm not, like, oftentimes we think about relationships. I'm talking about relationships of all kind, you know, whether it's your mom or your dad or your cousin or your aunt or your uncle or your sister or your brother, your best friend or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your enemy. You know, Jesus says a lot about love, and we just don't know how to do it. I'm 20 years old now, and I've just kind of grown up, and I've just learned, like, I don't know how to love people like Jesus loved people. Here's the thing, you gotta listen to the message if this video is gonna make any kind of sense to you. Like, not really, but I highly encourage you to. So I'm going to link that in the description down below. It's about 45 minutes or so, but it's so worth your time, y'all. Like, just go watch it, and you're gonna be like, so other things that love does. I'll give you some scriptures here in just a second, but let's just talk about some more things that love does. A love that sacrifices self to serve others fulfills the law. Simply talking about the law of the Bible, you know, this is biblical love. We love by spending time with God and surrendering to His Spirit, which, let's just talk about how half of us probably don't do that, you know? If we're honest with ourselves, like, we just do not spend time with God surrendering to His Spirit. Why? I can't even answer this for myself. It's crazy. You know, I think about how we love in today's society. Here's how I knew I needed to make this message. I was driving to work like a few days after I heard this sermon. I was just pulling in, fixing to park, and all of a sudden I heard that song by Halsey that we all like, right? It's called Bad at Love. We're so bad at love, we even have a song about it. Look at the divorce rate these days, like, just the hatred and all the junk in the world. Like, we are bad at love. I think the reason that we're bad at it is because we just don't understand, like, where it even came from. Like, right, we talk about that verse all the time, that we love because He first loved us, but do we get that? Like, do we really truly believe that? Because if we did, like, I don't think the world would be so broken. I think about, like, other things that are kind of like subcategories of love, things that love could fall under, things that kind of coincide with love, if you will. So, like, trust issues, sex outside of marriage, relationships as a whole, your finances, all things that I truly believe the way that you do those things is based off of how you love and how you are loved, your definition of love. When I think about Jesus in terms of love, it's like this. I have a 2003 Volkswagen Jetta. I've had quite a few problems with it over the years. It's an older car, it requires quite a bit of maintenance to keep up. Sometimes I have questions that not even my mechanic can answer. My other friends who've had Volkswagens, like people who I would go to that I trust, that are credible sources, like they sometimes don't even know the answers. And why is that? It's because they did not make the Volkswagen. They are not the manufacturer, right? So if I had a question about my Volkswagen, like if I wanted the best possible answer that I could get, who am I going to go to? I'm going to go to the manufacturer, the one who created the car. And that's the same thing with Jesus. Like, he's the reason that love is, like, exists. So, you know, relationships, like, God created relationships, God created sex, but do we go to him to ask about any of those things, or we just try to, like, figure it out by ourselves, like in this secular, broken, fallen, crazy, political, materialistic driven world? We get our relationship advice from a magazine about a couple who is famous, but they've been divorced 5 times. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But the Bible is the most historically accurate book ever written. Nothing's changed in over 2,000 years. So, like, if I was a guessing woman, I would say that that's pretty good, pretty reliable, you know? Like, Jesus himself, he came back from the dead and reset time. So anyone who can do that, like, I'm just gonna go with whatever they say. But yeah, I heard this song called Bad at Love, y'all, and I was just like, what is this? Like, if you listen to the stuff on the radio, especially rap, like, I am getting less and less attracted to most rap because it's just all trash. Like, it's just all talking about glorifying women and sex and money and drugs and all the things that get us into trouble, and we chase after it. Why? None of that brings true fulfillment and joy. It just always leaves us hollow and empty and wanting more. The only thing that's ever gonna not do that is Jesus. If you don't already know that, you're probably eventually gonna find it out. It might take you a long time. It's taken me a while, and I've been a believer for years, but you know, you really just gotta go through the valley to see what it looks like. And so I'm old enough now to where I've been into enough situations where I can just tell you, like, all the things you're chasing, probably not. And I just want to love like this. It's important the way we love. It's important the way that we use this. One of my favorite verses is Proverbs 4:23. It says, above all else, guard your heart, because everything you do flows from it. Do we get this? Do we really, like, we throw ourselves at people and we get into situations that we shouldn't get into, and it's just like a disaster. The way that we date these days, it's just so, like, I want to cringe. All the Me Too stuff and all the, you know, all the teen pregnancies and the young divorces, and it's heartbreaking the way that we love. Because that's a problem. We love everything. We love Starbucks. We love Chick-fil-A. We love our dog. We love our cat. We love our pet fish. We love our brand new Camaro. We love our doctor. We love our nail salon. We love our favorite store and that new pair of shoes from Dillard's. And we just freaking love everything. Like, that's the thing. We've watered it down so much that it's like we don't even understand this. Galatians 5:22 through 26. Go read it. Go read it, like, right now. Like, pause this video. But he talked a lot about those people who, like, never forget a birthday, who are always on time, early, in fact. They never miss an event. They make it clear and evident that they love and care about you, and they, you know, when you get a present from them, it's like, it's not something that they wanted, it's something that you really wanted. And they're attentive to you, and they know how to be giving of their time, efforts, money, etc. You know people like that? You know people that love like that? Why don't you love like that? Why don't we love like that? Like, honestly, why why do we're so selfish. Like, it makes me sick to think about how selfish I am, and I, not to the extent that I should be, but I've been consciously trying to work on this since I got exposed to that message a couple weeks ago, and I've listened to it several times now because I just really want to ingrain it into my brain, and I've shared it with other people, and it's just like I gotta like steady it. You want to get good at something, you gotta steady it, right? Like, how stupid would I be to just watch Grey's Anatomy, right, and be like, oh yeah, I know how to perform that surgery, I've seen it on TV. No, like, that's an absolute joke if I think I'm gonna be some doctor without having even gone to school to study all the stuff you have to study and know to become a doctor, right? So it's like the same thing. If I want to get good at this kind of love, I gotta study the word and learn how to love like this. And it also takes practice. It's not something you can just snap your fingers and like, boom, you're good at it, right? But I'll give you a small example. The day before I heard this message, this is one reason it hit me so hard. I was at my nail salon on Memorial Day, and as I was paying, I rarely pay in cash, but I did this day. I don't know, it was like 30 something bucks, whatever. And I was just gonna leave, you know, small tip, gonna give 40, gonna give 220s, and I'm out, right? Well, I also had a tin kind of folded up in there, and I didn't see it when I was handing him the money. And I just had to keep the change because I just thought it was that 40 bucks. I walked out to my car and was kind of organizing my wallet, and I realized that I had also given him that tin. And I was like, oh crap, like, I tipped $10 extra. And I was pissed. I was pissed that I tipped this person who is doing me a service quite well, by the way. Like, I was pissed that I tipped this person. Like, that's literally how selfish I was. I was angry that I spent more money tipping this person. Like, that's such a small thing. But, like, do you see how that has everything to do with what we're talking about? Like, how selfish you are. It's just like, that had to be all God. Like, what if that guy needed it for rent money? You know, I'm living at home with my parents for the summer. Like, I don't need that money. I have to think about things like that. So it's all about, like, changing your mindset. Like, I just love this. Giving of yourself for the benefit of others at a perceived cost to you. But this kind of love that we're talking about, it doesn't look for something in return. Like, it's not something that we do just to, you know, feel good about ourselves. Like, I think oftentimes, especially in relationships, JP was talking about this, you know, occasionally, sometimes even often, we give for the fulfillment of feeling good about ourselves. In and of itself, that is a selfish love. A lot of times, like, yes, you are inherently gonna feel good about doing something for someone else. Like, that's natural. You should feel good about it. But you shouldn't, like, that shouldn't be the root cause of why you're doing it. Like, I just dropped off some stuff at Goodwill right before I started making this video. It's like, yeah, I feel good about that because, you know, I'm helping other people, hopefully. Like, that's the goal. I'm donating things that I don't need for the benefit of somebody else who does need them. But it's not me on the inside. Like, I'm not secretly sitting there going like, oh, haha, like, I took this stuff to Goodwill because I'm a good citizen. That's just the wrong, like, mindset. Like that is not genuine love. Genuine love honors, it trusts, it doesn't boast, it forgives, it cherishes, it's controlled, it's committed, it allows for a clear conscience, it's confident. I look around these days and I see so many of my friends having babies in and outside of marriage, and it's like, you know, you want to be happy for them, but they're so young and they're just making all these choices that I know are not of God, and I foresee, like, you know, dilemma in their lives, and already I've been right about some of it. I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, you see this, like, snowball of bad decisions, and then, you know, one thing leads to another, and, like, all of a sudden they've got 3 different kids with different fathers for each one, and then a month later they're engaged to some new guy who hopefully sticks around to be the father of all those 3 kids. And how are you gonna instill a biblical love when that's your foundation? Yeah, I hate to see, like, people who literally, like, spend their lives with people who don't understand this kind of love, because, like, people are not objects, y'all. They're not. You have to get that. Like, that's, like, the worst thing someone can do, is treat you like you're not a person. The second people did that to me, I'm like, I'm out. Because you gotta know your worth, and the only way you're gonna know that is if you know how to love, if you know how to be loved, and you know who you're loved from first and foremost. And so I don't know, I go back to the manufacturer analogy. It's crazy how much we are obsessed with sometimes just finding the perfect love, right? Like we have this idea in our head of what we want that to be, but way more often than not, that's not like what God intends for us, right? Like I just think about my life right now, and I think about how crazy it was a year and a half ago, and my desires were all over the place. They were just wrong, and I was kind of like in sin, and I just like, you know, we want all these things, but here I am looking back like a year and a half later, and I'm like, wow, like thank God for unanswered prayers, so to speak, right? But by the way, God does answer our prayers. He just might say no. I thank God for him saying no, because there's a reason that I'm where I am right now. I'm very grateful and blessed to be here. I've learned so much just in this last year, you know, going to the porch. It's like I don't get to go all the time, but when I do, man, it's a special day. I just had to share that with y'all because it's not something that we are taught in school. Like we take all these crazy college classes about accounting and business and finance and science and blah, blah, blah. Might never matter again after we graduate, but we never learn how to love. And in my opinion, you know, relationships are what you're gonna have at the end of the day. The only way you're gonna have healthy relationships is if you know how to love and you spend time with people who do the same. And if you want to learn more about love, like, you should talk to the one who created it. We act like we don't need God. We pretend like we just have it all figured out and we know things, you know, because we've had 20 years of life experience. But God created my life experience, right? Like, how dumb am I to think that I am all knowing compared to the creator of the heavens and the earth? Yeah, like that's just stupid. As I'm talking about this, feeling convicted about things that I just wish I could do better. It's only been 2 weeks since I heard this message, but it's like, whoa, I have all this stuff to work on, but at least I know like what I'm doing, and I know what I want, and I have these goals and things I want to work towards and ways that I want to be better, and I just need to focus on that. Because if you do that right, if you love, like people ask all the time, like how do I not sin? Like that's what they think of Christianity as, right? Like this written book of rules of how to not sin. Like if you look at it that way, you're never gonna want to do that. Yeah? Like I think we just look at it as this laundry list of rules that we try and follow, like things that we can't do or we're bad people. But if you're really truly loving biblically, you won't be sinning. Like in every aspect. I'm talking about all the stuff that's in Galatians 5:22 through 26, and of course the 1 Corinthians 13, like I mentioned. Oh, and also 1 John 4:7 through 12. Find people like that. Spend time with them. If you want to be like somebody, you're looking to them for whatever it may be. Like you got to be around them. So, you know, find you some people like this. It's just like the sunburn analogy he used too. It's one of my favorite ones. I love this. So talk about getting sunburns, like this is perfect for me because I am obviously pale as all get out. If I've been in the sun for even just 45 minutes, maybe even less, like you're gonna know. Why? Because I'm gonna be red. You're gonna be able to just look at me and tell that I've spent time in the sun. And it's the same thing with people who love like this. Like when you come across people that love like this, that really truly understand a genuine biblical love that is unconditional and selfless, don't forget those. If you like didn't get anything else from this video, unconditional and selfless love, like that is key, y'all. It's hard. It's like the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life because it requires so much in here, but it's like the best, most rewarding thing you could ever do with your life. I know people that spend their whole lives like learning accounting, and it's like, for what? But do you know how to love people? The same thing with getting a sunburn. Like if you know, see these people who truly know how to do this and they've mastered it, or at least they're giving it their best, which is really all God wants from you, right? Is your best. You'll recognize them by the badge of love that they wear. Like that's how Christians are supposed to be marked, like, right? Like that's how we're said to be noticed, is by the way that we love. And so I think that a lot of people who think Christians are hypocrites and like they just back off churches because of people who they've been around who don't love like that. That just tells me that your faith was in those people in the church rather than Christ. But if you don't know Christ, it's like, it's kind of a catch-22, right? We have to give this love And we have to show this love. We have to show this love to other people. That's why it's the most effective way to reach people for Christ, because they're going to see him in you by the way that you love. I have a sunburn, and those people that love like that, they have a sunburn, S-O-N burn. I just think that's funny. There's just kind of this joy that I feel from thinking about the way that Jesus loves us. Like, we're the most messed up people. You could be like the worst, most horrific, baddest, like, serial killer, like, mass murderer on this planet, and Jesus still loves you and died for you. Like what? If you really believe that, like, you should be loving like that. We forgive because Jesus forgave us. Like, we know how to love because he first loved us. So it's like he really did first love us, but do we really love like that? And I think a lot of times the answer is no. We get so caught up in this world of craziness, you know, oftentimes focusing on things that aren't gonna matter eternally. We spend our whole life living for the now. It's like, if we just live this life for this life, it makes it seem like we don't believe in the forever. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, guys. Just by the way, I have kind of put a pause on the vlogs for a while. If you haven't noticed, I might just start doing like little weekend vlogs here and there. Anyways, happy summer, guys. It is 2018, halfway done with it, freaking rocking it. I'm so excited. It's Father's Day weekend. Go out and show some love to your dads, because you have the ultimate love from the ultimate dad. So, yeah! I'll see you guys in the next one.